Hi, I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge and hypnosisdownloads.com, and welcome to How to Get Your Ex Back. 7 tips to tell if you can get your ex-partner back and how to do it. He wasn't just determined to get his ex-girlfriend back, he wanted to marry her. Trouble was, she was just about to marry another man. She was literally at the altar. But true love won out and he got her back anyway, just in the nick of time. Movies, don't you just love them? The Graduate has got to be one of my all-time favourite films. In rom-com land, the lovelorn girl always gets her boyfriend back, just as the forlorn guy always wins back his girlfriend, sometimes just before the final credits roll. But what are your chances of getting back with your ex-partner in real life outside of Movieville? Getting your ex-boyfriend back must happen if you really love them. Shouldn't it? Reunion with your ex-girlfriend is how life is meant to pan out. Surely, because you just love her so much. But alas, life just isn't Hollywood, even if you live in Hollywood. So, if it is possible to get your ex back again, what's the best way to do it? Well, firstly, is it even possible to get back with your ex after a split? The best part of breaking up is when you're making up. Of course it is. Plenty of now happy couples have at one time or another split up only to reunite and ultimately be stronger together. You might have been feeling despairing, hurt, obsessed. We always tend to obsess about what makes us very unhappy or happy. But now is a time to really think clearly. You might feel in pieces or that life has become meaningless. It hasn't. These feelings will pass even if you really don't believe that. Sure, you might need the emotional dust to settle a bit, take a little time out, but whatever's happened, you need a strategy to deal with it, no matter what it was. How to get your ex back. The first thing to consider is getting your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend back may be possible and right, but it partly depends on how the relationship ended. Did your ex-partner break up with you or you with them during a blazing row when feelings were running high? Maybe pride on one or both sides has been preventing you from getting back together ever since the breakup. Or did they end the relationship after carefully thinking it through for a long period of time? Was it a realistic break in that it was planned and really thought through, or a spur of the moment, split-second impulse that just kind of got out of hand? So, was it thought through over a long period of time, or was it just something that happened because things got out of control? The truth is, it may be possible to get back with your ex, but you now have to consider, is that really the best thing? This may actually be a disguised opportunity for you. And bear with me. Do you really even want your ex back? So it's time for some hard thinking. Is getting back with your ex really the best course of action for both of you? I want you to really think about that as calmly as you can. Or are you just seeing your ex through rose-tinted spectacles because we always appreciate what we no longer have? And sometimes we see what we no longer have through rose-tinted spectacles. Perhaps they were violent or stole or cheated, or you behaved in any of these ways. Forgive me, I'm not suggesting these things, but I don't know you personally. Regardless of how you feel at the moment, now is an opportunity for you to take stock and do some serious thinking, rather than doing a Dustin Hoffman and romantically barging in to demand your ex-partner be with you now and for always because it was meant to be. Think as objectively as possible. Does your partner really contribute to the quality of your life? Sure, they may be exciting, but is life difficult with them? And perhaps an even harder question to ask yourself, do you make their life better? Do you overvalue your ex-partner because you fear never meeting anyone else again? If you answered yes to these questions, then ultimately you may, and this might not be easy to hear, be better off without your ex. One woman was convinced she wanted to get her ex-boyfriend back, but as the emotional fallout settled and she calmed down, she found life to be better without him. So it's just a thought. But if you really think, not just feel, but think that it can work, then follow these tips to get your ex-partner back. So tip number 1, don't beg. Okay, I'm begging you not to beg. If it's genuinely a relationship with potential, you need to do and also avoid doing certain things to get your ex back. One general pointer is that you should keep your dignity at all times. Begging or otherwise behaving too desperately may make your ex feel sorry for you, but will also make you infinitely less attractive. Okay, pity may be attractive to some people, but for many people it's not the basis of a relationship. And even if they do go for the lame dog scenario, imagine how that would cause resentment later on. They may well feel you got them back together for the wrong reasons. You might not care about that right now, but you would do later on. So keep your dignity, because how couples reunite can have ramifications for how the relationship is after the reconciliation in the long term. Make it clear to your ex you think the relationship still can work, but communicate this calmly and as an adult. So no begging. 2, leave game playing at the playground. Trying to get your ex back by playing games is the wrong way to go about it. The clue is in the name, game playing, which is for children. Trying to make your ex jealous by pretending to be dating someone else may scupper things later on. If you ever do seriously get back together with your ex, now you've got this game playing stuff to clear up. Behave at all times as the adult that you are. 3, don't hold your ex-partner to ransom. This is not a blackmail situation. You can live without your ex, even if it doesn't feel comfortable, and possibly even that way right now. And that's a fact. You can live without them. Screaming, crying, or threatening to end it all if your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend won't see you or get back with you will just make them feel manipulated and pressured. Emotional blackmail will also likely reinforce the very reasons why they felt they had to finish with you in the first place. Because if you consider doing that now, then no doubt that was a feature in your relationship before. Do you really want to be back with someone who feels forced into it because they're worried you might do something if they didn't agree to reconcile with you? 4, don't tell your ex you've changed. Show them. If your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend told you what they felt was lacking in you, are you considering what they said? If they said, for example, that you never listened to them, then you're still not listening. Rather than telling them you're no longer insecure, show them by not contacting them every 5 minutes. If they told you that you don't talk to them with respect, then, if they'll still see you or talk to you, talk to them respectfully. Show them that you're different. Don't just tell them. Or write a letter or email promising you'll change, but also telling them how precisely you intend to change, giving them examples. Vague promises never seem very promising, especially if your ex has heard it all before. 5, say sorry to your ex if need be. One guy I worked with told me how his ex-girlfriend had finished with him and how much he wanted her back. And he said, "She always told me how I had to be right all the time, how I could never admit I was wrong or apologize." And I suggested he apologize to her in writing and on the phone. Actually say sorry to her. Okay. And he tried this, and hey presto, it worked for him. He was showing her that actually he could do something that he'd never been able to do before. And research shows that people who can apologize in relationships are much more likely to stay in those relationships. Not only did he get his ex back, but they're still together years later. He's learned how to get off his high horse sometimes and say sorry. People feel respected when they're apologized to, and to go back to the research, studies show that we are more likely to remain together as a couple if we can apologize to one another. 6. Try a little romance with your ex. Another client of mine told me how she wooed her ex-boyfriend back. She sent him genuine love letters from her heart and gifts she knew he'd like. And yes, I know the use of romance could be constructed as manipulative, but it may work if done with real feeling. Okay, because she actually meant what she was sending him. One guy I spoke to tried to get his ex-girlfriend back by talking to her about all the wonderful times they'd had together. After a breakup, it's all too easy to just rant and rave and focus on all that went wrong and what was bad about the person and what was bad about you and so forth, and how unfairly you feel you've been treated and so forth. This just reinforces in your ex's mind why the breakup had to happen. But re-evoking the good times might well do the opposite. Okay, there were good times and you could talk to them about those times. 7. Get your ex back by letting go of the past. If your ex-partner was the one who walked away from the relationship, it may have been for all kinds of reasons. Maybe they met someone else. Maybe they felt like they tried so hard to make it work with no return, no reward for their efforts. Or maybe they quit too easily. Perhaps they haven't yet learned that no relationship is perfect all of the time, and any relationship worth having always needs some work. If you still see or communicate in any way with your ex-partner, only talk about the past insofar as it's really necessary, and talk about the good times if you have to talk about the past. Don't blame them for stuff that's been and gone, because people feel, quite rightly, that there is nothing they can do about that now, and they might start to feel defensive and attacked. Talk about how you would still love a future with your ex, about how you don't want them to be your ex, but your current partner. Unless they feel they have to address issues from the past, don't even talk about what's gone on, but rather how things can be for the both of you. But remember, if they really don't meet you halfway, then it's time to move on, because you will recover and come back stronger. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe. And if you want to hear when my next video is published, hit the notification bell below this video. I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge and hypnosisdownloads.com. And if you'd like to try some of my personal development products, head over to hypnosisdownloads.com and take a look around. And thanks for watching.